we've got some updates on the Nintendo Switch 2, and then some other stuff on Apple. Like I don't know. Anyway, let's just jump into the game news. We'll hop right into it straight away. We got a lot to cover. The Pokemon DLC, The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero Part 1, launches at the time of recording in about an hour. We're hoping it'll be ready to go right then. Don't know what the size of the update is. But Nintendo of America has been tweeting out a countdown one day, because technically it's tomorrow, but it's a worldwide release, and so Japanese time, it's already 9:13, and it'll be 9 a.m. there when it launches. So we're going to get it early, sort of, and so it's going to be fine. We'll be trying to play it here on stream in a moment, but I wanted to mention that if you are looking forward to that DLC, well, I hope you got it pre-ordered or whatever. I mean, who pre-orders DLC? I did. I literally bought it today. Anyway, moving on. Where are we at? There we are. XDefiant. This is a game we've played a little bit on stream, very little bit during the beta. XDefiant looking toward fall release date due to certification requiring more work than expected. I thought this was interesting because the director, I believe, producer, Mark Rubin, put out a statement that was like in full transparency and everything, just outlined how they have failed the certification process on both PlayStation and Xbox for various reasons. I don't think he went into like too much detail, but the fact that they had all these like betas and testing periods for the game and still failed certification, it's kind of weird. I think in the long run, we're in for a good time. They've been very, very responsive to user feedback. The game was a lot of fun when we played it. I like it because it's kind of a classic style shooter, but with like all the Ubisoft shooter franchises working together. The Clancyverse, you've got, it's just a really fun game. I can't wait for the full release to come out. It's going to be really good. But very weird that they were trying to launch in September, and now it's probably going to be October-ish before it actually comes out. Kudos to the team for having a good attitude, I would guess. I imagine that the certification processes can be grueling when you put all your work and effort into the game and it still fails. Now, this was weird, but who knows? Maybe they fixed it. Maybe they'll fix it quick and launch sooner than they now expect to launch, which is later than they originally... Anyway, let's move on. Starfield. Okay, so Starfield's huge, right? But I thought it was interesting and worth pointing out. Starfield has hit 6 million players on Xbox and Windows. And a lot of this may be just people firing it up on Game Pass to figure out how to play it. But 6 million players is a lot. And kudos to the team. They've done a good job. I mean, the game is very popular. Watching several people stream it and just seeing a lot of gameplay. And it looks very fun. I hope to dive into it at some point. Maybe it'll hold my attention longer than Skyrim did. But kudos to the team for releasing a good game that a lot of people seem to like. Let's see. All right, so weird news. Do you like credit card debt? No one does. But Xbox is launching a MasterCard credit card with a range of benefits across the Microsoft Store, gaming, and more. No fee card is set to launch in 2024, and I don't like these things. Okay, as an irresponsible college student back in the day, I had got myself into a very large and uncomfortable pile of credit card debt because I liked things and had no sense of delayed satisfaction. So I think this is it's a weird time to be taking on more debt. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I would say if you are just looking into getting a credit card, maybe, but it's expensive. And do you really want an Xbox credit card that encourages you to buy more games that you aren't going to play? Probably not. I'm not a financial advisor. I would stay away from this. I don't know. I just think taking on more credit cards is a terrible idea. Trust me, I know. All right, more Microsoft news. Tokyo Game Show 2023. Microsoft's going to be there in a big way. There's some Game Pass stuff rumored, teased. They're going to be on the Tokyo Game Show's official YouTube channel. It'll be broadcast at a weird hour because we're in the States, and this is obviously Tokyo Game Show, so okay, that's fair. But don't skip it if you can help it. I plan on watching it well after it's aired live. I want to check it out. I'm looking forward to whatever announcements they may have. This recent Square Enix commitment to partnership is exciting. Atlas and Sega have been like really cozy with Xbox lately. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Microsoft's position in Japan could be changing, but let's see what they got coming from Tokyo Game Show. Coming up, let's find the date on that really quick because I did skip it. September 21st, 6 p.m. JST, 9 a.m. UTC, 2 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So yeah, that's like 4 a.m. for me. I could get up super early and do a super early live stream. Would anybody want to watch that with me? No one would. Although September 21st, I mean, it gives me enough time to plan. Anyway, let's not get off the rails here. Just when you thought Google Stadia was dead, it is, sort of, mostly. Yeah, the brand is dead. But Google has started testing instantly playable online games on YouTube, initially only to a limited number of users. This is from Eurogamer. I haven't been crediting the sites. It's okay. They were on screen. They know. Back in June, reports began circulating that Google, fresh off its Stadia streaming flop, was looking to incorporate playable online games into YouTube. Well, we can now see those reports into the correct pile. Testing for the tech giant's new feature is officially underway. The gist of Google's new initiative, known as Playables, is that it will enable users to instantly play online games via YouTube's website or iOS and Android apps. And now, as confirmed on its YouTube test features and experiments list, thanks to 9 to 5 Google, testing is now live. All right, that was a lot of words. I find a lot of this interesting because this kind of plays into some of the things that Stadia was trying to promise. And I'm hoping some of this kind of shifted into YouTube's realm. I'm guessing it's just cloud streaming. I'm guessing they've got deals just like everybody else is making deals with publishers to put their games on a cloud service. Cool. I mean, YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. A lot of people use it every single second of the day. It is a very large platform. They could seriously dominate the cloud gaming space just by branding it under YouTube. Maybe YouTube gaming makes a resurgence here. But what I find interesting is they are saying you can play through the iOS or Android apps. If you remember, when Game Pass launched cloud streaming on iOS and Android, like officially, the game streaming app on iOS was blocked because of some bogus rule about needing to have an ESRB rating or listing every single game that could be played separately because of the ESRB ratings. It was a nonsense reason, and it makes no sense because you don't make Netflix put all of their movies on the the iTunes store because they're all rated by the Motion Picture Association or whatever. It feels weird. I feel like Apple will shut this down once it's out of a testing, if it gets out of a testing phase. But very interesting. It could be huge. And some of the things I'd like to see if this does roll out is the promise that you could stream directly to YouTube your gameplay, and you wouldn't need like a console or a graphics card or a really beefy setup. You just need a really good internet connection, and then your webcam, your sources from OBS, all of that could be pulled in and just set up in YouTube. It could be big. Now, there's no word on that. That is just me making wild speculation. But I said it here first when it does happen. If it does, I think it would be really cool. They're really missing an opportunity if they don't capitalize on that. That was one of the best promises from Stadia, was being able to like stream your gameplay natively without needing to do a bunch of extra stuff. Let's stick with that. Google, do not drop this. I think it could be huge. Competition is always good. And with all the random issues cloud streaming has been having just across the board, maybe show people how to do it. I don't know. Do your best. All right, let's talk about an indie game that is a remake of a Game Gear game. Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit. Final trailer. I just wanted to feature this because it's a really fun trailer. We can watch it together really quick. Maybe? Okay, there we go. Noah Copeland worked on this for a number of years. I played through it when it first launched, but I really want to download this update and play through it. It is a fantastic reimagining of one of the best Game Gear games ever made. and he just added a bunch of new features, and it's insane. Like, it's so cool. I think it's super awesome. So all that is super cool. Man, that is very loud. Is it super loud on the stream? I hope not. But anyway, this trailer, like, look at all this. It's so cool. He's added so much to it. And it's just so fun. Like, there's a 2-player mode, battle mode. It's so cool. It's got Android support and Mac OS support, so you can play it on your Apple computers. I'm digging it. I truly enjoyed it. I played it off stream just because I wanted to be able to just soak it in. But it may be worth playing on stream pretty soon, because it is a fun game. And you know me, I love Sonic games. But anyway, super cool. Go download it. Check out Noah Copeland's YouTube channel. It's got all you need to get that going. But it is a fantastic thing. It's like, the quality of this is insane, and you should go check it out. Let's talk about some other Sonic news. We did get a trailer today for, I think we got a release date. Is this release date trailer? Super cool trailer for Sonic Frontiers, The Final Horizon story teaser, which also is about a minute long. Looks super cool.
My millions of
I thought that was awesome. Very
one
Sonic-y
so
story, anime,
I did not consider.
silliness.
However, it could be the one to save us all.
But this trailer goes pretty hard.
Do you know what happened to the Chaos Emeralds?
Sonic handled 4 islands in this mess. I'm not going down to just one.
Every time I interact with cyberspace, I'm getting more corrupted.
They're hyping this up so well.
I know it's been
I am
rough.
so pumped for this.
Things are confusing. But
I need to
you
finish
guys
this.
just
I may
follow my lead.
stream a little bit of this to finish it out.
No time to lose.
See, new playable characters. I'm just excited to play as not Sonic in a main game. Like, I think it's super cool. Anyway, what was the release date on that? Let's back it up just a hair. Free update, September 28th. And this is awesome because this game has gotten just a ton of free content just because. And now that could have been part of the plan the whole time. And you can say what you want about that development process. But the fact that they didn't lock this behind a paywall, it's just part of the game, is super awesome, and I am very thankful that you can just not have to pay for anything other than the main game here. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Sonic is great. Let's go. Unity, everybody's favorite development platform. Super weird idea. Changed its pricing model, and game developers are PO'd, as the article says here. This is from The Verge. Long story short, I read about this. They're introducing a new fee that every time a game built in the Unity engine is installed, it will charge a fee to the developer that the developer has to pay to Unity. And I think that makes no sense, as does the rest of the internet. This is a dumb move. It reeks of pure business with no insight into the actual use case. This is a perfect example of disjointed decisions being made. Yes, they have to make money. Yes, Unity does make money off of the developers because they license it out, and there's certain things around, if your game sells so much, you pay a cut to Unity. But now it's by installation. So this brings up a lot of concerns, namely with services like Game Pass on PC. If a developer releases their game on PC Game Pass, they now are subject to, if the game takes off, they have to pay a bunch of fees, and nobody bought the game. Now, they do get to secure the bag for Microsoft. Microsoft does make a deal for Game Pass games, but this is wild. This is going to be abused. Like, you think downvoting or, review bombing games on Steam and Metacritic is a thing? You ain't seen nothing until somebody's so angry that they install a game like 1,000 times in a script and just rack up those fees for a developer. Like, this is just prone to nonsense. And they have straight up said that the fees will apply every time a user installs. If they uninstall it and reinstall it, that counts as 2 separate installs. So this is just ripe for abuse and makes zero sense. I don't even understand what the goal is here, to be honest. It's weird, and it's making everybody mad. Before they walk this back, like tomorrow or the next day. This is dumb. Bad job, Unity. Way to push everybody to back to Unreal or to some other very popular gaming development platforms. All right, let's talk about Nintendo stuff, because this is where we're getting into like the meat of things. Nintendo is ending Mario Kart Tour content 4 years after its debut. Does anybody still play Mario Kart Tour? I have played it a few times since it came out. It has gotten better over the years, but they are no longer adding new content to the game. They confirmed in a message. It's time, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It's been out for 4 years, so, you know, it happens. Realistically, they could keep this going. Like, they could keep the game supported indefinitely. Maybe they don't need to add new tracks every, like, 6 weeks or whatever their release schedule was. But we may see a shift into Mario Kart 9 because with the new Switch eventually coming out, but Nintendo's next console eventually coming out, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just doesn't sound good. You might as well just call it Mario Kart 9, even if it is the exact same game with some slight changes. But yeah, if you played Mario Kart Tour, well, no new content, but the game is still playable and will still be supported for the foreseeable future. All right, let's move into some rumor mill kind of stuff, but a lot of big outlets have picked this up, so there might be some credibility behind it. There's a patent. Let's get into it. Nintendo files patent for smart fluid joysticks, which could stop stick drift. If you are surprised by this news, well, good job ignoring everything else about Hall effect joysticks, because that's basically what this is. Nintendo has patented their own take on the magnetic sensors used to prevent stick drift. It's basically, instead of the existing analog stick structure that reads your inputs, it is a different thing that uses magnets. We all know how they work, right? Anyway, the thing with this is the lifetime of these joysticks that use Hall effect sensors are a lot longer, and that's better for longevity and use case. You know, just heavy players can enjoy that Mario Party mini game where you gotta spin the analog stick without fear of it not working after that game. Anyway, point is, they filed a patent for this. VGC reports this. There's a tweet. Interesting Switch 2 news. Nintendo's patented a new controller design that seems to include magnetic Hall effect analog sticks. No guarantees, but if this is for Switch 2, this should end analog drift issues next gen. And that's pretty much it. That's the big takeaway here. Now, it's important to note that these patents will start showing up for this kind of stuff as we get closer and closer to an announcement. Because in all likelihood, Nintendo's already, deep in manufacturing on these things, or at least about to be, like, within months. So these patents have to exist if they want to be able to sell their consoles in the various countries in which they would need to sell them, which is everywhere. So, cool. I really hope that everybody else kind of follows suit. I wouldn't be surprised if the next Elite controller from Microsoft and DualSense Edge or Pro or whatever they end up calling it for PlayStation also features Hall effect joysticks. Would make a ton of sense. All right, this is something I didn't think I was going to report on. But Nintendo reportedly demoed Switch 2 at GamesCom 2023. Visuals comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series. The plot thickens. This is from IGN. A lot of places are running with this. At Gamescom, there was a closed door session where people got hands-on with the Switch 2, or at least got to see it. They showed off the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, which was super cool when it came out. Kind of showed off the new system's capabilities and everything else. So, what does that mean? Why are we talking about this? Well, I thought it was just a rumor. I was like, oh, it's easy to say that closed door meetings happening, but there's so much volume behind the discussion here that there's got to be some truth to it. Here they say, according to Eurogamer, Switch 2 was shown running a souped-up version of Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild. That would be awesome if they could just patch existing games. Do they even need to patch them? They might just run better on the new hardware. But I could see some performance patches or... excuse me. Oh, wow, that was weird. Anyway, compatibility patches being released for a lot of these games. It would be super cool. Make a lot of sense. All right. So anyway, I think we'll find out just how accurate this report is very soon. Nintendo's got to be announcing this hardware early next year. I would say January or February, before we get either there's some rumors or something that have more meat behind them. But interesting nonetheless that the closed door demos are happening. I'm sure the dev kits are in a rough state. There's probably not a whole lot going on as far as the look of the system, but the concept is probably down with whatever test models they're using. You know, the power being comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series, again, makes total sense. It's time. You know, the Switch platform is really old at this point. We've moved on 2 generations of hardware on the Xbox and PlayStation front, and PC, you know, is always super powerful. So Nvidia releasing another Tegra or variation of it that has more power only makes sense. But yeah, all right, cool. Let's move on from this rumor. This last thing, today was the Apple event, or if you're watching this on YouTube, yesterday was the Apple event. We found out the new iPhone is coming out, and there's a lot of great news around that. Yay, no more lightning. But anyway, they announced something interesting with the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. It will be compatible with well-known titles, including Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and Death Stranding. I was very surprised by this, because gaming on iPhone has been limited to Apple Arcade and then App Store games, and they're okay. Apple Arcade is really cool. I think if you haven't checked it out, take the free trial, jump in. It is probably one of the only things that will truly rival Game Pass as far as downloadable games go. But there's a lot to be said with this, because the new iPhone will support hardware ray tracing. It's got a really good GPU now. It can play AAA games. What is happening? Why are we getting mobile games that look good, as good or better than our console counterparts? It's very odd. It is very odd. So I think this announcement is pretty big. Base Guru said, Grindstone is the bomb. Grindstone was super fun. I played it for a while. Oh man, that felt better. But anyway, so getting into this a little bit more, I just did not expect Apple to be like, hey, we're going in on AAA games. We're making this happen. And so the fact that it's going to be on iPhone, I wonder how, if the controls are going to be terrible. Touchscreen controls are never fun. I'm just going to get that out of the way. But the USB-C version of like the backbone apparently already is confirmed for functioning with the iPhones, the new ones. That's amazing. And that's really the great thing about the USB-C port. The iOS version of most of these accessories can just be the mobile version of these accessories that add, you know, controllers and stuff, because they don't have to use some old port that we've been using, you know. I'm very much looking forward to this iteration of the iPhones. I just upgraded, so I'm not going to get this one, but that USB-C port alone is reason enough. If you haven't upgraded in a couple years, definitely look at even the base iPhone 15, not the Pro. Having USB-C is a better option, so it's gonna be awesome. But these games will only be available on the 15 Pro and Pro Max. You know, Apple's gonna Apple. I think the best thing about this is with the 15 Pro, you're basically getting a preview of what the iPhone 16 base model will have next year, because that's essentially where we're at with the 15. Not the non-Pro version of the iPhone 15 is just the iPhone 14 Pro specs, scaled back a little bit. It's not as revolutionary, but there are upgrades there. But yeah, minus USB-C, because that changed everything. But it's finally time. I'm glad they did it. But these games coming out, and other games, who knows what else? I mean, you know, Sega could just start porting everything they do over to the iPhone, because why not? It's going to be curious. I'm curious to see how this ties in with Apple Arcade. And, you know, are they going to release some of these AAA games in Apple Arcade, because there's already Apple Arcade versions of a lot of games that have been on other platforms. Dead Cells comes to mind, which is the same game, runs exactly like it does on the Xbox. It's just on my iPhone, and I, can play it on a tiny screen. So I thought it was super cool. Surprised me. Honestly, this was the coolest thing out of the Apple event. Everything else was cringe. A lot of stuff that I was just like, I would never cover this on the game news, but I wanted to mention this today. So, yep. All right. Well, that does it for this week's game news show. Sorry about apparently having a coughing fit, but I appreciate you being here. I hope you had a great time. If you could like the video, leave a comment. Mostly just, subscribe. That's all you need to do. Don't do anything else. Just subscribe. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to go attempt to update to the new Pokemon DLC if it's already out. I don't know if it is. But anyway, thanks for watching. And on YouTube, see you later.